Boys, we've got to do something to help these video game addicts. Last week, I have seen more and more young men who are supposedly on self-improvement. I'm going to go through this concept of inner Jeffrey, outer Chad. Some of them like go to the gym and everything, and it's always the same excuse. And it saddens me because I see more and more young men in the middle where you hear from me, okay, video games are bad. It's an addiction. It's bad for you. And then you also hear from but it's okay to play 1 hour. And if you're somewhat in the middle and you're trying to think, okay, well, who do you follow? Who do you listen to? Because there's so many new creators who are criticizing me, and there's a lot of comments who criticize me and say, I'm too hard on video games. I couldn't control it. I'm a drug addict. All the shit they want to throw at me. He doesn't know about video games because you can play them safely. You do realize that the people who are telling you that video games are okay to play, that, they're not bad for you, that they can be good for you, they've never quit. Those Jeffreys who are telling you, like, video games can be productive, they can be good for you, just don't overdo it. Like, they've never quit. I literally hear them say, or I read them in their comments say, like, oh, but I've played video games for all my life and I'll never stop playing them just because Hamza tells me not to. Okay. So you don't even know what you're talking about then. You've never actually experienced life without quitting. Why would you take advice from someone like that? That's kind of like would you take fitness advice from someone who's never worked out? Would you take advice on how to quit fapping from a guy who continues fapping? No, of course not. The reason why I push so hard onto you to drop these addictions of yourself, particularly video games for young men, is because I've experienced both sides. I've been totally addicted to them, but I've also had many, many years where I played for just 1 hour a day. Truly, I was only allowed to play for 1 hour a day. Then I had times where I moved out of my family home. It was my family, it was like my mom and my dad who would essentially force me to, okay, I can play 1 hour a day. I moved out, I took a laptop and stuff into university, and obviously I was doing other things for fun at the time, but then every now and then I'd go to a couple of weeks or months where I'd start playing some video games again, and I'd play for 4 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. I've played for every amount of time that you can think, including for many years it was 1 hour, and I've also completely stopped playing. You have in front of you a guy who has experienced the full spectrum of what it's like to be a gamer and to be not a gamer. You don't realize how valuable that could be. I'm on the other side. I've experienced all sides of life in terms of video games, and I'm telling you, you don't realize the amount of growth that you can make when you're not putting your brain power into that rubbish. I wrote down a bunch of excuses that these guys use, and some of them upset me. Because if you're on self-improvement, if you're on your journey to become more like Adonis, you'll realize a bunch of these guys, they really sound like fucking Jeffery. When you think about what is it that we're trying to get these guys to do to stop doing a bad habit, and they will attack you for it. So I make these videos, okay, stop playing video games. You're better than that. Let's get you productive. Let's get you reading. Let's get you doing something, right? Let's get you not wasting that hour of your time. And in fact, we'll go over that one first. I was going to talk about something else that's going to get me kind of upset and kind of pissed off. But then it's this thing of wasted time. And the comments from the Jeffreys in reply to this is always, but it's not wasted time because it's pleasurable. Well, pleasure's not really good for you, bro. Choose purpose instead. Oh, but you don't have to be productive all the time. It would be better if you were. Oh, but the Hamza's promoting hustle culture. He's working to it. Bro, have you watched any of my videos? Have you seen my Instagram reels? If this is the response that these fucking Hamza's promoting hustle culture because he says we can't play 1 hour of video games, bro, you clearly don't even know who the fuck you're talking about. I'm one of the least hardest working amongst us. I work for about 2.5 to 3 hours a week. I've paid everyone else. I've got fucking 8 people on my payroll to do my work for me. I'm not one of those hustle and grind people you might have seen. Oh yeah, I wake up early. Sometimes I wake up 4:30 or 5. That isn't an entrepreneur. I'm gonna wake up. It's just I literally just prefer that. It's literally just more fun for me to wake up nice and early because I'm just kind of it's a weird thing where it's I'm actually kind of sleepy at 6 p.m. and I've always kind of fought it for that social thing, and you want to stay up late and I always used to kind of force away from it. This kind of side note because of shit like technology. But recently, like, I've just been thinking, like, bro, this is like my natural rhythm is like, I'm sleepy at 6, I'll lie down, I'll read, and I'll wake up early at like 4:30, 5:30. And people, oh, but he's promoting hustle culture, bro. I don't work that hard. I do some things which require hard work. Of course, like, you know, I do the business, I do the videos. Sometimes this requires, it's a bit of friction. You don't really feel like speaking and you don't want to present yourself. You don't feel ready to kind of like influence thousands of people. Sometimes, you know, I go and do like hard workouts. So I do some kind of hard work. But I'm not a guy who's saying you should work all day, every day. If these guys have watched any of my videos, they'll know that that's not the type of like cult that we have here. What's the number one thing that I promote to my boys? What is step 0? Mental health. Do you know, in all their arguments, these fucking Jeffries, they'll talk about video games and everything, they will never once mention mental health. Because the mental health of a gamer is always going to be worse than a guy who doesn't play. Of course it is. Oh, but you don't have to be productive 24/7. But why wouldn't you want to be? Productive. Like, these guys, they don't know what productive means. They don't know what productivity means. Productive doesn't mean, oh, work hard and, you know, smash buttons on the keyboard and work. No, it doesn't. Being productive is having a deep conversation with your friends in real life. Shut the fuck up. Either in real life or on a video call. Not whilst you're fucking, like, brain dead, focusing on, like, killing the fucking tower or some shit, killing the dragon or some shit. You're having a deep conversation with your friends, either in person, face to face, or on like a video call, face to face, where you're not fucking distracted. One of these guys, he commented on my video, leaving like these sort of critical comments, and he got like a fair amount of like attention on his comments. He got likes and stuff. And what he wrote was like, oh, but enjoy the journey because you might die when you're 45, and all the delayed gratification you've been doing would be pointless. No, it wouldn't. Because it's fun right now. These guys who say like, oh, but you've got to have some pleasure, you've got to have some fun. Like, you can tell they're not that deep into their self-improvement because this shit is fun right now. You'll know, like, after the first couple of weeks of it just kind of being like, you know, annoying, and you're trying to get the habits in and you keep missing the workouts and you're kind of frustrated. If that happens to like a certain few people, it's always mental health related. After you've really been meditating and gratitude journaling, bro, it's like, this shit is fun. When you see some progress in the gym, this shit is fun. You're hyped for it. You see one of those like loner, introverted, silent kids get loud and hype in his room because he's actually seeing some progress in the real world instead of in the virtual world, and these guys want to keep him there. Oh, but you might die, you might be hit by a bus when you're 45. Shut the fuck up, bro. Shut the fuck up. Well, what kind of fucking excuse? But you might die any second, so YOLO. Shut the fuck up. So by this guy's same advice, should we then not focus on businesses or careers? Should we not go to the gym because you might die? You might, all those hours you spent in the gym will be away. Shut the fuck up. Same guy posted something like, oh, but look at the flowers. You know, the journey up the mountain it's not really fun unless you stop to look at the flowers. Enjoy the journey. Let's use your analogy here and like actually break it down to how stupid it is. You're saying that the guys who are telling you not to play video games, you're saying that this fucking Jeffrey is saying that we should stop to look at the flower. Bro, that's exactly what we do. So this excuse, this fucking like critical comment that he's left, like, oh, but like, you know, the journey is more important than the just destination, and like, you know, you've got to stop in and enjoy. Bro, let's use your fucking analogy. It's the guys who are on self-improvement. It's the guys who have stopped playing video games. We're the ones looking at the flowers. If you're like a part of my fucking cult, you know, like, we're literally like taking pictures of leaves because we're trying to like show more appreciation and savor more of the beautiful moments in life. These video gamers will use these type of analogies like, but going up the mountain isn't fun unless you stop to look around, bro. What kind of person is going to stop to look around? The video gamer or the guy who doesn't play and instead spends his time meditating and journaling? And one of these fucking guys, bro, one of the guys who got the most like was literally like, he wrote such an intelligent, you know, like those fucking internet intellectuals. He wrote like an intelligent comment. And I never replied to these, bro, because I'll be totally honest, right? One of my major weaknesses is that, bro, I am not good at arguing with people. I think it's maybe trauma related. I think I kind of like break down when I'm kind of like, you know, presenting arguments and stuff, because if I presented arguments when I was a child, I'd get hit for it. But I've never been good at like, you know, breaking down their points, and they write like all these big words and all this shit. But to be honest, bro, I read the comments, I read the thing, people commented underneath like, oh, you know, like, this is like one of the best comments I've ever read and everything. And the guy literally said that these activities that Hamza preaches, like meditation, they're all garbage. Some shit like that. That's what these fucking Jeffries think. When you see these Jeffries talking about, but video games aren't bad for you, that's what they think. Oh, but meditation doesn't do anything. Just look at the, you guys are going up, you're going for the destination, but you've got to enjoy the journey, bro. We're enjoying the journey so much that we don't need to overstimulate ourselves in some virtual world. These Jeffries are trying to like put us down and say like, oh, but we're focused on the destination. How the fuck are we focused on the destination? You're escaping the journey. These guys are escaping the journey. We're the ones who are staying in the real world. And this one got me upset, right? This one gets me pissed off because I'm making these videos. Okay, stop playing video games. Do something productive with your life. Stop taking some fucking responsibility. Look at your parents. They're not retired. You've got work to do. And then some of these fucking guys, they'll bring me down for it. Now, argue against me 100%, bro. Be critical of the shit I say. But when you try and throw an insult at me, like that makes me so sad because I'm like, bro, like I'm on their side. We are literally just striving to make more men like Adonis. We're trying to just get more men to help themselves, to improve their mental health. Because we, honestly, it's kind of like a selfish thing. But like, we want more brothers to improve with. These guys see us talk about quitting video games and they will throw personal attacks at you. The amount of comments that I read of people like personally attacking me and saying, but Hamza gets wasted every weekend, so how is he saying that video games are bad? Bro, who the fuck told you that I get wasted every weekend? I've drank alcohol like what, 10 times in the last fucking year? Hamza goes out to the club for fun. Like, bro, I have come onto my camera knowing that tens of thousands of people are gonna see me talk about my weaknesses, and I say that it's an addiction. I'm addicted to the validation that I can get from girls. I don't know, it's like an ego thing. And so for many years of my life, when I was like 18, 19, 20, 21, I went out to fucking clubs 2-3 times a week just to try and hook up with girls, because hopefully then the girl would like give me a sense of validation and affection, and hopefully my boys would they'd back me up. And I come on here to tell you that that was a mistake. I come on here to tell you that that was an addiction. Still to this day, it's an addiction. It's something that I'm making progress against. It's something that we could celebrate, because it's like, yeah, like that's like one of the big problems that I'm trying to overcome in my self-improvement. But you see these guys, these fucking video gamers, these fucking Jeffries try and bring me down. Oh, but Hamza gets wasted every weekend. Hamza goes out to the club for fun. Like, no. I come on here and tell you that it's a mistake. Why can't they do the same about fucking video games? One interesting note about this, you'll kind of notice this with guys who are somewhat on self-improvement, but they still do a bunch of the bad habits. They'll say always the same thing, but I go to the gym and I do work, so I can play me some video games. And like, yeah, you can. One thing I've said before is that if you want to do the bad habits, if you want to eat some of the junk food, if you want to take some drugs or something, bro, absolutely. You don't have to completely cut anything out, but you must do this one major thing. You must hold your hand up and say, yep, it's a bad habit. Yep, I'm being a Jeffrey for the day. One guy literally commented, this was a fucking real comment, and people replied saying like, yeah, you're so right, Hamza's wrong here. He was like, but Hamza says the video games are bad, but what about that slice of pizza that he ate on holiday? That's how you know these fucking guys are brain dead. What about that slice of pizza that he ate on holiday? Do you know what the difference is between me and these guys, or us and these fucking Jeffries? We can do bad habits, and we'll literally say, yep, it's a bad habit. I'm on holiday. I'm going to eat some pizza. I know it's not the most healthy thing. We can say it. These guys, we don't give excuses. We openly hold ourselves accountable and say like, yep, I'm going to take some drugs. Yep, I'm going to go to this party and I'll probably drink some alcohol. Yep, there's something that I really, really want to do. There's some video game that I really, really, really want to play. Me and my friends are all going to play this video game together. Me and my friends are all going to drink. So we hold our hands up. And I've been so proud of my boys who literally say, yep, I was a bit of a Jeffrey last week, but it was kind of fun. I wouldn't do it all the time, but yeah, it was nice. That is how to go forward. You stay accountable to yourself. Do not allow your Jeffrey brain to convince you that the bad habit that you're doing can be good for you. You'll see from their comment, they will comment below right now, and you'll like, obviously the first few comments I'm expecting is like, like my fans and everything. But you'll see below that there'll be a bunch of comments which got 20 likes from other Jeffreys, and they'll be like, no, because what's wrong with playing? It's always the same fucking comment. What's wrong with playing video games after a full day of work? But I go to the gym too. Do you see what they're doing? They're literally just coping. They have to give it as an excuse. If you have to ask, what's wrong with X, and then give excuses why it's not that bad, it's probably pretty bad. We would have more respect for these Jeffreys if they just said, like, yep, it's not a good habit. It probably is pretty bad for me, but like, it's okay. I accept the consequences. Bro, what could I say? If they said that, if they said, I accept the consequences, what could I say in response? I'd be like, fuck, like, respect, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, you just big dicked your way out of this. I accept the consequences. It's not the best thing I could be doing with my time. But I want to spec out for a bit. Boom. I can't say anything. None of us can judge them then. But it's because they give these excuses. The reason why we are so hard, like, you know, we're so on these fucking Jeffreys trying to tell them, like, stop playing video games, is because we gave the exact same excuses as them. Every video gamer who eventually quits knows that we said the exact same excuses to our parents and to, like, you know, like girls or something, or now, like, eventually was online. If you ever were in this space previously and you were, like, in their position, we gave the exact same excuses. The difference is that now we are on the other side. We don't play this shit anymore, at least not consistently. And so we know that their excuses are valid, and we're like fucking scratching our brain trying to figure out how to help these guys. And it blows my mind because, bro, we're all on the same team here. We're literally all on the same team. We all just want to get better. We want to see our brothers next to us improve with us. It's an off topic, bro. You don't realize how much, like, criticism you take when you become, like, an influencer. You've kind of heard of, you know, like, influencer mental health and influencer suicide and stuff, and you're always thinking, but, you know, they live really good lives, like, they've got so much clout and they make so much money and everything. That stuff's, it's very, very nice. It's really nice. But each and every comment that disagrees with you, that's critical of you, that insults you, it kind of feels like it's a real person in your face saying that. And when there's a fair amount of comments, I've been noticing more and more that it almost feels like an evolutionary thing in my mind, which is like, wait, be careful, you might get banished from the tribe. It's like an emotionally, physiologically painful thing. It's a shame that there's a large amount of young men who watch our videos, who take part in the community, and yet they see us as the enemy. They see us as like we're doing something wrong. We're going we're on self-improvement too much. You're overdoing stuff, bro. You can't overdo growth. You can overdo, like, working. You could be sleep deprived. Yeah, that's like the main reason. That's the number one thing, is like, if you're sleep deprived and, you know, you're working long hours and stuff, that's always been fucking stupid. If you watch my videos, you know that I've never ever promoted that. I've always promoted getting more than 9 hours of sleep. You can watch my Instagram reels where I literally show you how much sleep I get. And, like, the amount of sleep I get, this is a side rant, but it's like the amount of sleep I get isn't really that great. The time I allocate to bed is, like, very healthy. It's like 9-10 hours. I don't really get that good sleep because, like, I always fucking wake up at night. It's like an extra, like, thing I left. It's like PTSD type of shit. But if I was telling you, like, no, don't go to sleep, don't do, like, healthy things, don't go for a walk, like, focus on work. Yeah, fair enough. These guys' criticisms would be fine. But when we're on the other side and we're saying, yeah, go to bed early, get some good healthy sleep, eat clean, meditate, journal, go outside and observe, like, be present in nature and savor the good moments of your life, have beautiful relationships. These guys come to our videos and criticize us for that and say that we're overdoing it. I literally keep seeing their comments like, oh, meditation's garbage. That's what these video gamers believe. Like, meditation's garbage. Just look at, like, oh, but, you know, you've got to enjoy yourself. If you say that, like, if these guys say that, bro, like, we know that they're not on self-improvement as they write these comments like, oh yeah, but I've been lifting for 7 years and I work for 100 hours a day, but I just want to, bro, like, anyone who's been on self-improvement for at least a couple of months, you know, like, bro, you have more fun right now than you used to when you just be spurging out and just fucking mouth breathing whilst playing video games. Another fucking comments, video games are better than books. Video games made me learn more than books. No, they didn't, bro. No, they didn't. These guys literally comment this type of shit like, oh, but you can learn from video games. I've learned so much from video games. The video games have helped me more than books. You, bro, come on. You do realize why these guys haven't been helped by books. They can't read. They can't read. The majority of young people, probably the majority of the fucking world right now, cannot read. Most people can't fucking read. They read 1 or 2 sentences and their mind wanders. And why do you think that is? Literally think about this right now. Why do you think someone's mind wanders so often in this modern day? Because of technology, because of the internet, because of social media, because of video games. Of course, it has to be. So these guys, video games have taught me so much, and books, your videos aren't helpful, Hamza, but video game. Because video games have destroyed your attention span. We all know it. If you're someone who's somewhat in my boat right now, similar stance to me, and you used to play a lot of video games in high school and college, you can probably relate to that thing of like, you wanted to pay attention in school, didn't you? You wanted to like do well in your studies, but like you'd often find that your mind would wander. And you know what's interesting? I said social media before, and social media definitely does cause this. But imagine times before you really got like onto social media, but you used to play video games, and that same shit used to happen. In the modern day, they call this like ADHD or something. I don't think it's like some special like technical term. I think it's that we literally just train our brains to be so respondent to like the fast response of things like video games, because shit's happening so quickly. Imagine 100 years ago, like the information that they would be consuming would be like a newspaper. It doesn't change, it doesn't update. It's like you're looking at the newspaper. A book is the exact same thing. You're looking at the book, it doesn't change or anything. It's like you get a new source, like a new page of information every 30 seconds, 1 minute, when you flip the page. Whereas now in a video game, it's every couple of seconds, every millisecond in some games, every fucking couple of milliseconds, like some new information has come and your brain has to you have to focus and you have to know what's happening. You're training your brain to have a very bad attention span. And so when you're in school, when you're trying to focus on the teacher, when you're trying to do some work, your brain's just mind wandering. It's just flipping around because you've been training it. And it's interesting because that used to happen before we even really went onto social media. So it's been video games for us. So these guys say, oh, but video games have taught me a lot, more than self-improvement YouTubers have, because you can't concentrate, because you don't take action. Video games have helped me more than books. You can't read. I've seen the same comment often, which is that video games aren't bad. It's just how you play them. So this is what these guys say. Video games aren't really that bad. It's just how you play them, and if you've got an addictive personality. But this is like saying oh, but alcohol's not bad. It's just how you take it. But it is. Now, Hamza just said that alcohol's bad, but Hamza drink. Yeah. When I drink, I hold my hand up and say that I'm being a bit of Jeffery. Why can't they do the same thing? Video games aren't bad. It's just how you play them. Don't be addicted to them, bro. And they're literally made to be addictive. They are literally made to be addictive. That's like saying, oh, porn's not bad. It just depends on how. No. 1 second of porn is bad for you. 1 second of video games is bad for you. 1 sip of alcohol is bad for you. Hold your hand up and say, yes, I'm being a Jeffery. I accept the consequences. Everyone would have fucking respect for you. As much as it'd be weird as fuck if someone said that about porn. It's there would be no counter argument if someone was like, nope, I accept the consequences. We could say nothing to that guy. He's fucking immune. He shouldn't do that, of course. But he's immune. But these guys won't say it. They're trying to convince themselves. And also what hurts me and what honestly enrages me is okay, convince yourself. Don't try and convince my boys. They'll convince themselves, and then you see them come in drones, and you'll see them in you'll have to scroll down on this video because obviously the first few comments will be our boys, but you'll scroll down and you'll see them come in drones try and defend their arguments, and it's how do you have enough time for that? Just 1 hour of video games a day, after how do these guys say that they work so hard? I work all day, I meditate, I go to the gym. They work so hard, and yet they always have time to come to every video that says to stop playing video games, to come and leave comments and get into an internet discussion, an internet debate. Bro, if you're getting into internet debates, and this is to my boys as well, if you're getting into internet debates, if you scroll down, you read some of these comments, and you reply to them, you're as much of a Jeffery as they are. If you're getting into if you're writing about your feelings on a fucking, this one's wrong. Come on, bro. If you're getting into the fucking internet argument, come on. One final thing, I would see this, right? And this is kind of where it gets weird, because you can see some of these guys who don't actually look like total Jefferys. So you can see someone who says, yep, I play video games. And you're but he's actually got some muscle. He actually looks kind of attractive. He looks kind of confident and everything. You didn't really expect that. You're going to see a video on my main channel talking about, not exactly this concept, but it's similar. And it's the concept of the inner Jeffrey, outer Chad. And I think you might be able to, like, not relate, but I think if you watch that, you'd be like, fuck, like, I know a couple people like that. Outer Chad, like, they kind of they look kind of like Chad, you know, they've got, like, a bit of muscle, they look attractive, they look confident. They outwardly look like somewhat like high-value men, but inside, like, they're not. Inner Jeffrey, outer Chad. When you see a guy who like, oh, but I go to the gym and look, here's me, I've got some muscle. But you play, bro, you're an adult and you play video games, come on. So now I speak directly to the guys who are watching. So far in this video, I've wanted to speak more to my boys. It's kind of hard because I always like kind of direct my videos to like, to you, I say you, but I've wanted to kind of like, obviously separate the distance between my boys and the fucking Jeffreys who are commenting this shit, who also somewhat say like they're on self-improvement and stuff, but they're also like just leaving hate comments and they're always, oh, but Hamza's wrong on this one because video games can be healthy if you play them. Just, I speak directly to those guys now. If there's any watching, I feel like usually those type of guys can't really take accountability, but if there's any watching right now, it's not me versus you. It shouldn't feel like I'm against you here. If you've watched this far of the video and you play video games and you're like, oh, you know, this guy's a dickhead and everything, it's really interesting that like your brain has created a rivalry between us. We're on the same side, like we both just want to improve ourselves. I'm literally just trying to give you my learning lessons because I spent thousands of hours, valuable hours, playing video games. And it didn't hit me up until I fully quit. So if you're watching this and you're like, you know, Hamza's wrong, and like all these points that he brought up, they're actually right, and you know, Hamza's wrong and everything. Trust me when I say like I was in your same position. I was literally arguing with people online to say like video games aren't bad. All my friends are online. I was literally saying this shit. It was only once I fully quit, that my life drastically improved. You have seen countless of those stories online, countless, where the young man says like, oh yeah, I used to play video games and my life wasn't that great, but then I stopped and like everything got better. Bro, that's exactly what you're missing out on. The same, like if you're watching this and you're one of those video gamers, you've probably seen comments or you've probably wrote comments saying like, oh, but Hamza needs to like, you know, speak with less certainty and, you know, he needs to be less critical. He needs to accept the sort of advice and wisdom from other people. That's good, yeah, I should have humility, but then so should you. You should take some seconds right now and just think like, just ask yourself this question, and it might fuck your brain up if you truly ask it, but just ask yourself this question. What if he's right? Just ask. What if he's right? What if all these excuses that I've mentioned in this video, what if all the excuses that come up in your brain, what if they're not actually on your side? What if, just what if, the pixels on your screen right now, seeing me on your screen right now, and you realize like, wait, this is like literally like a real human who lives in UK, Warrington. He's in his fucking little parents' house. This is a real guy who's trying to give me some of his wisdom because he spent as many hours on video games as I have. It's so important for you to just be critical of your own mind for a second. You've asked me to do it. Everyone says that, you know, I should have more humility, and I totally agree. Humility is such a great and underused skill, especially in myself. And so I'm trying to do more of that. But then I ask you to do the same thing. What if I'm right? What if your brain is wrong right now? This is where it gets really fucky. What if all the thoughts in your brain are wrong right now? What are the objective truths of this? Because it seems to me like the objective truth is that we're on the same, I'm on your side. Me and my boys who are on self-improvements, we're on your side. When you feel hated because you play video games, what if you looked at it more positively? What if how could you be grateful for that? Well, you could think, wait, like there's a bunch of young men who are telling me that I'm better than this. There's a bunch of young men who are expecting better of me than to be indulging in pleasure in video games. Is that a bad thing? We're on your side. Is your own brain on your side? When you've indulged so much for years, I've personally found that your own brain is generally not on your side. This is why self-improvement is very hard for some certain people. Because your own brain, your Jeffrey brain, is so loud that it's like everything you do is actually a detriment to your life. You just keep making all these mistakes. You keep getting these negative thoughts and these insecurities. What if your own brain is against you right now? Why do you think I end every single one of my videos with saying, do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it? It was a phenomenal, remarkable moment for me when I journaled and I wrote like, fuck, like, maybe I can't even trust my own brain. What are the objective truths? Because my brain keeps telling me to skip these workouts. It keeps telling me to eat that junk food. It keeps telling me that playing video games and jacking off is fine. And it's very interesting that with all those things I just said, skipping the gym, junk food, jacking off and everything, you've ticked off every single one. Like, you know porn is bad. You know the skipping the gym is bad. You know the junk food is bad. You've ticked off all of them. Your brain was wrong about all of them. Your brain and your body give you a craving towards something that's not good for you. And you know that. And so you know, like, oh yeah, the craving for chocolate, it's like, it's not a good thing. The craving for like, fucking porn isn't a good thing. So there's one left. There's video games. And is it so different from the rest of the random cravings that your brain gives you, that your Jeffery brain gives you? We know it's not. Now, finally, back to my boys. We've got to think of a way to help these guys because they're in deep. And you'll be able to, like, see which type of guy it is because it's always the same, like, intellectual comments of, like, no, but you're wrong, Hamza, because I do X. I go to the gym and I do lots of work. And then I just play 1 hour a day and that's not bad. And, you know, you're wrong, Hamza, because it was bad for you, but it's not bad for me. I can quit anytime I want. Sounds kind of like an addiction, bro. You might want to accept some help for that. And if you're uncertain, if you somewhat play video games and you're uncertain if you want to quit, give it a try. Just see, there's a big reason why so many people quit and never restart again. You can probably visualize the type of life you'd have if you did quit. You probably have been visualizing it and you probably like see like a greater life. And it's not so much that you're so certain that you want to continue playing. It's more that you feel like so weak against the addiction that you continue playing. And that's a scary place to be in. It's a very scary place to, like, you might not even have the ability to kind of like comprehend that this is a real addiction. Video game addiction is a real thing. And honestly, it's consumed the lives of so many young men. The way that we talk about porn it's the exact same thing with video games. You can have an addiction to it and it's not good for you. Like, I don't know, like sciencey shit, but like, come on, it's kind of common sense to think like, yeah, it somehow like messes your brain with like certain stuff that like would happen in like the reward circuit of like, you know, the dopamine circuit of your brain. Of course it would. You get a feeling of success, achievement, accomplishment, brotherhood within minutes of going onto a game and leveling up or getting like a kill. You feel good about yourself. So if you're getting that feeling in the virtual world, you need less of that feeling in real life. When you strip that away and you stop indulging in that feeling in the virtual world and you're left with real life, you should feel like trash. This is why so many young men find it so hard to quit, because there's like that transition period where if you stop playing, you're now not getting that same feeling of like accomplishment and brotherhood and, you know, all my friends are on Discord together and everything. You get nothing because your real life's fucking trash. So you could start day one of leveling up in real life today and start making progress. And in a week, you'll be on day 7 and like you've made significant progress. You're on track to actually changing your life. Or you could, you know, try to quit and then, you know, real life is kind of boring. It's kind of hard. You'd rather just go back onto the game and then start day 1, 6 months from now, a year from now, 5, 10 years from now. Meanwhile, the best version of you starts day 1 today. You wait 6 months, he's 6 months in. Visualize like a shadow, like 6 months into like being free of this addiction and the progress that he would be making, like the alternative, the better version of you, your potential. And here you are just waiting for day 1 because the real world's kind of hard right now. Of course it is. These Jeffreys amongst us, they want you to indulge in that pleasure. They want you to just think like, oh, but you know, it's not bad having fun. They don't realize that, bro, real life is where the fun is. They don't realize like how much growth can come from this. Everything that you wanted, at least for me, everything that I wanted like a beautiful group of friends. I wanted friends that I could speak truly deeply. I wanted friends that I could cry in front of. I wanted friends that could be in the car and I could be like screaming like the song lyrics. I could be rapping in, you know, like your fucking rap voice is like cringe and everything, but I wanted friends like that. That's exactly what I've got. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.